So I was lucky enough to be chosen for the first Halo Infinite flight, and now that I have played it over the weekend, it's time for me to give me my honest thoughts and feedback. Here are the timestamps for when I talk about certain categories, and just for reference, I played on the Xbox Series X. Okay, so first off, gameplay. The gameplay in Infinite is solid, right? The movement, the weapon feel, the combat flow, all feel amazing, right? 343 have really nailed what I feel is the hardest part to get right in the game, which is the basic gameplay and feel. Maps and game modes are important and all, but the basic fundamental gameplay is the foundation on which the rest of the game is built on, and to me, they've got it spot on. Like, I honestly wouldn't change anything about the movement at this point. Jumping feels good, clambering works all the time and isn't buggy, and yes, sprint does feel good. Now, let's address that issue right now. So, the topic of sprint in Halo has been going on since about, 2009, 2010? Does it belong in Halo? And I've always said, yes, if it's balanced properly. In Halos 4 and 5, the maps were designed in such a way that sprint was necessary, and if you weren't using sprint, you were at a disadvantage. In Halo Infinite, sprint feels like an optional extra. The base move speed is fast enough to where I don't feel like I'm required to sprint all the time. The way sprint is implemented here in Infinite works for someone like me who is more of an old school player. Old school, I don't need sprint, but it works for people who feel that they do need sprint. The sprint debate will never end, but to me, 343 have proved that this is the way it should be in Infinite. It's there, but it's not necessary all the time. The gunplay feels tight, responsive, and overall very satisfying. The assault rifle is probably the best in any Halo game ever in terms of multiplayer. The Halo Combat Evolved 60 rounds magazine is still my favourite. Like, this one, it feels great at close range, and with enough firing discipline can destroy people at mid and even long ranges to an extent. And the battle rifle in this feels very much like the Halo 3 version in terms of fire rate, but it has the accuracy and punch of the Halo 2 version. The rest of the weapons after this feel different. I'll try to explain. So the pistol, the sidekick I think it's called, it feels very good and snappy, with a nice fire rate, but something would always feel off to me. It felt as if the aim assist was inconsistent with the weapon. It starts out strong, but as the mag got lower, it felt as if the strength of the aim assist would disappear, even with strict firing discipline. Definitely a bit of a learning curve with this weapon, and there was a wee graphical glitch that I had, which was when I was zoomed in, everything was kind of blurry. Like, you could fix it by zooming it out and back in again, but it only ever happened with the pistol. No other weapon had that blurriness around you when you were zoomed in, so that's just something that I noticed, and I've noticed it in other people's gameplay as well. The commando is the weapon I had the most trouble with. Sometimes it would work for me, sometimes it didn't, and it's not a buggy thing, it's just a skill level or playstyle thing. I had my friend over and I let him try out some of the flight, and he tried the commando and he loved it, and he absolutely destroyed with it, consistently getting kills with it. Me, on the other hand, still struggle with it. It's just something I've been trying to get more practice with, as I do enjoy the gun when I use it. I just need to get better with it, and I kind of like that. And there is a sort of trend here with the weapons, in that some weapons do have a bit of a learning curve to them, which I like. I like how not every weapon will work instantly for everyone. Like the assault rifle and the battle rifle, they feel very, user, new player friendly, in that, like, hey, anyone can use them. But if you want to veer out and experiment with the other weapons that you can find around the map, hey, you're going to have to put some practice in with them, which I like. I like that. I like, forcing me to put in the time and effort. Yeah, I like that. It was the same thing with Battlefield 3. It's like, I might like the FAMAS or the Elite 5A2, but my friends would suck with it. and then vice versa. They might be really good with the A91. I'd be really bad with it. I like that. It adds its own kind of variety to the gunplay. The sniper rifle feels very heavy, like very weighty to use. It's still satisfying when you get a kill, which, if you're like me, isn't as often, as I'm not really a sniper guy. But yeah, it just felt very heavy, and the reticule, like when you fire from the hip, just felt, I don't know, tiny. Like maybe make it a wee bit bigger. But it felt good, like it should be. It's a heavy, you know, anti-material rifle. It should feel heavy, and you know, people shouldn't be able to whiz around and use it like a DMR. Like it should, you know, have some heft to it. The new shotgun, the Bulldog, has earned mixed feelings from me. So gone is the traditional pump action shotgun, and in its place is a drum mag semi-auto shotgun. And yeah, I kind of don't like it, and I didn't like it when they first showed it off at E3 last year. Like, I don't know if they need to buff it or what, but consistently, and I mean consistently, when I used this gun, I needed to put 3 shots into someone before they died. And that was at close to medium range, or traditional shotgun range, if you will. It just doesn't feel right. The shotgun should be 1 tapping someone at close range, or even 2. But 3, like, I had to resort to the old shotgun melee tactic just to put them down fast enough, which brings me to the Heatwave, which is essentially a revamped scattershot. So it's a forerunner shotgun. It has the same problem as the Bulldog. It requires at least 3 shots to kill someone. Now, I don't know if 343 are wanting to get away from the ultra dominant one-shot shotguns of old, but it kind of feels that way. I like that the Heatwave can change its pellet spread from a vertical to a horizontal, and that they bounce. At first I didn't like it, like I felt as if the gun was just very, I don't know, finicky, but over time I got used to how it felt and operated, and the weapon feels very good. But still, the 3 hits to kill at close range feels like an issue to me. That's just how I feel. And also, looking back at the footage, and I thought it was just a psychological thing, but it looks like it is true. So if you have the pellets going vertical, it fires slower than the horizontal. Like, I always thought that when I had the crosshair going horizontal, that it would fire faster than the vertical. So that is a thing. Then we have the pulse carbine, which it felt very inconsistent to me at first. Like, sometimes I would 2-burst someone, other times I would put like 6 or 7 bursts down range and they would still kill me. Like, I don't know, there was just something off about it. But then I realised that because it is tracking, like, you fire a burst of 3 like plasma projectiles and they track. So I just thought, right, let's treat it like the Needler, and the rule of the Needler is keep the reticle red, they'll end up dead, right? So fire those projectiles, keep that reticle red, and they'll all go right towards them. And it's the exact same for the pulse carbine. Once you get that down, it does work very consistently with you. It's a gun that I feel as if a lot of people are just going to instantly say, oh, this is bad, and just never touch it again. Whereas people who put in the work and effort to get better with it, they're going to dominate. So it's a gun I'm looking forward to trying again. The Needler was great. Maybe too great. At close to medium range, you are God. Further than that, you're kind of praying to him. Like, the Needler hasn't felt this good since Halo Reach. The only problem I had with the gun was actually being hit by the Needler. Like, the hit feedback for the weapon doesn't feel strong enough. Like, there was multiple times where I was shooting a bot and I seen he was firing something at me, but nothing, like, I was getting no feedback as to, you know, what I was being hit by. Like, in terms of, you know, control vibration, or even like audio as well. Like, I couldn't hear it, or visually I couldn't see, and then I would just explode. You know, Needler Super Combine, and I'm like, what the So I have no idea that I'm hit by it. I'm being hit by it. So yeah, they need to fix that, because I need to know what it is they're firing at me, and I need to know how many needles have hit me, you know, until it's too late. Like, I need to know that. So that's just one issue I had with the Needler in terms of it being used against me. Plasma pistol, it's there, it works, noob combo still the same, moving on. The gravity hammer, okay, it feels good, but it requires a bit more precision with your swings compared to past iterations, meaning you can't just spam it all around you and everything dies like we used to do back in the day. It now requires a bit of time to actually swing it, so timing is also key when using it. As you know, sometimes people, by the time you actually follow through with the swing, they might have moved out the way, so you need to time and aim. The only thing I don't like about it is that when you use the normal melee button, instead of the quick tap from the bottom of the handle that you used to do, you do another slow swing but without the gravity effects, and this kind of hurts the weapon for me, as there was countless times that I would hit with the main swing, not kill them, and then try to finish with a quick, normal melee, but the normal melee took so long that the enemy would just punch me faster and I would die. But I can kind of see that as their way of balancing the weapon, as it did force me to be more strict with my swings, but it kind of makes the weapon a bit unforgiving, but at the same time, it's stopping spam, and yeah, I don't know how I feel. I like it, but I don't like it. I like that it takes a bit of skill to use now, but that could dissuade people from using it. But then again, it makes them not want to pick it up, which means I'll get to pick up more, so win-win. The Ravager. Okay, so the Ravager was actually broke in this flight, which they did acknowledge, as the second fire mode was buggy, and sometimes the weapon would fire by itself. You'd fire, it fires in bursts of molten plasma, and you'd pull the trigger once, and then as soon as you let the trigger go, it'd fire a second burst, and there's what? And then its second fire mode is you hold it in, so it's like the charged up shot, you hold in, and then you fire this one massive shot that just sort of napalms the ground for a few seconds, which would have seemed cool if it worked. So hopefully they fix this for the next flight and we actually get a chance to try it, because I hardly used it, I avoided it at all costs, and I think I was killed by it a grand total of 2 times the entire time I've played, and I played for a good 20 hours over the weekend. So yeah, and something's kind of worrying me. I'm hoping that this isn't some kind of replacement for the brute shot, because if it is, then that's disappointing, because the brute shot needs to return, not this thing, the Ravager. Brute shot. And the skewer. So the skewer is a big harpoon gun, and it's the one we've seen from the trailer, and it is technically classed as a sniper, as you do get no scope medals and sniper medals for getting kills with it. And because it is a sniper rifle, technically, I struggled with the weapon. But when I do get a kill with it, it feels great. Just the sound of the thing, the sound design on it, it just, it really does make you think it could tear someone's head off as it's flying by. They nailed that. It's a difficult but overall fun weapon to use, and I can't wait to use it against vehicles, to be honest. I know they showed it hitting a Warthog, but I want to fire it against a Banshee or a Wasp and see what it does to that. The only problem I had with the weapon is that I would be zoomed in, so it's a one-shot thing, so you fire one shot, put another bolt in, crank it, fire it again. So I'd be zoomed in, I would fire it, and then it would keep me zoomed in. I would have to physically press the reload button or zoom out again for it to reload automatically. And I just found that strange, that your mag is empty and it doesn't automatically go into the automatic reload. I didn't like that. I'd be zoomed in, fire, and I'm right, when's it going to reload? When's it going to reload? Then I had to do it myself. So yeah, they need to change that to make it an automatic reload after you fire, just like every other weapon. Last but not least, we'll get to grenades. So the brute spike grenades are back from Halo 3, and they are just as satisfying as ever to stick someone. Or stick the wall behind them and watch as they walk into it. Just watching them walk by as a wall of spikes just explode right into their face or their back is great. Plasma grenades, do what you expect, nothing new here. The frag grenades, however, are something else. Not since Halo Reach, or rather the Halo Reach beta, have grenades felt like mini nukes. Like, these things are crazy. And at the rate that these bots were throwing them, you end up having like flashbacks to Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Like, it's just so many explosions going on. Like, they're powerful, but I don't know if I would say that they were overpowered. They just feel that way because the bots would just spam them, which I'll talk more about at the bots later. And you can shoot grenades on the ground again, just like in some previous games. It's a fun wee feature. That surprised me a few times as I was kind of stupidly taking cover behind spike grenades, and then a bot would shoot them and it would kill me, and I'm like, how did that bot one-shot me? And then I seen on the kill feed grenade, and I was like, oh, right. So that's something to pay attention to. One issue that I had with the grenades, which a lot of people seem to have this issue, is when you kill an enemy and they drop their grenades from their inventory, the grenades would have this orange glow on them and a wee light that always confused me. Like, I couldn't tell if they dropped a live grenade just before they died or not, and that confusion got me killed a lot. Like, I'd see the thing drop and go, oh, it's a live grenade, and I avoided it and nothing happened, and I'd be like, oh, right. And then the next time, oh no, he just dropped his grenade, boom, dead. So yeah, remove that dropped grenade glow. Like, I can see the grenade on the ground. We've always been able to see the grenades. Just make it, instead of the orange glow, just make it the red dot light on it. Like that's the way it was in Halo 3 and Reach. Just, yeah, we don't need it to glow to look as if it's been armed. Just really confusing. All that being said, overall the weapons look, sound and feel great. Some have a bit more of a skill curve than others, but again, I like that, and I can't wait to try the other weapons. The equipment that we got to use, so there was the shield wall, which was the most abundant, and it's not as overpowered as you'd think that having portable cover would be. So when you pick up the shield wall, you get 2 of them, and there's a slight cooldown between them, that way you can't just drop 2 at once. And like the slight cooldown, I think it's like 3-4 seconds. And when you deploy them, there is a slight delay to when it actually like deploys. So you can't just, it's not like armor lock where it's like, oh, I'm instantly shielded. It's like, no, you need to throw it down, and then honestly it's like a good second and a half before it actually unfolds and shields you. So that's good. The grapple shot was very, very fun to use. Swinging around and using it to pick up weapons from afar was very satisfying. I want to see it on bigger maps. I think that's where it'll truly shine, and we'll see some crazy gameplay clips of people just like, you know, being bloody Batman or Spider-Man swinging around all over the place. And the tracker dart, it's okay. It's just okay. Shoot at a location and it pulses a few times, revealing all enemies within its radius. It's not overpowered like Promethean Vision, but it's not completely terrible either. Okay, let's talk about the heads-up display for a minute. It's okay, but it's a bit underwhelming. It feels like it's still following this weird minimalist design where you only get numbers displayed for your ammo and tiny icons for your grenades, which you can only hold 2 grenade types at a time now. So you can either have 2 frags and 2 stickies, or 2 frags and 2 spikes, or 2 spikes and 2 plasma. You get the idea. I don't know why they did this, but I kind of want them to go back to where I can hold all grenade types at once. Like, I know it's probably a balance thing of like, we don't want people running about with 6 grenades or 8 grenades, because that just promotes spam, but people are spamming grenades anyway. But the HUD just looks bland and boring. Like, bring back the days of having your magazine count being shown by actual wee outlines of the bullets on your screen, which also gave you an idea, based on the size of the bullets, how much damage they did, instead of just giving us numbers. Like, look to Halo Combat Evolved up to 3, and even ODST for examples of what a good, futuristic and cool looking HUD should look like. Like, the Magnum shots were big. Like, you've seen the size of them and you went, right, that compared to the wee ones you get in the assault rifle, right, the Magnum is going to hit hard. Whereas this is like, oh, I've got 36 bullets. Oh, I've got 12 bullets. It's like, no, like, I want a sense of like, hey, you've just picked up something powerful. Like, I want that to be conveyed through the HUD. The radar. Okay, radar is a big problem for me. It was a big problem in Halo 5. It looks like they've carried it over. But thankfully, a lot of people are talking about it. So I'm hoping they fix it. And I'm going to talk about it. So the radar, 1, is too small. And 2, it only picks up enemies if they are sprinting or firing, right? This practically makes it useless, right? So the radar, like everyone knows this, the radar, how it always worked was if you're moving, it'll pick you up. If you crouch or crouch walk, you won't be picked up. That's been the way it's been since Halo 1, right? And that's why crouch walking was a thing. Like, you know, if you crouch walked all the way to a base, yes, it was slow, but it gave you that stealth, you know, the risk reward. But now, like, there were a good few times where there was a bot right beside me, and I had no idea, until he started firing. I'm like, what the hell? Why didn't you show up in my radar? Like, the radar is important. It gives you information to like read the map and the combat scenario. Like, the radar to me was always like the mirrors on your car. Like, you shouldn't be looking at them all the time, but they're important, and it's important to keep glancing at them every now and then to dictate how you should move and react. That's what the radar should be. Like, again, I had the same problem in Halo 5. It was actually kind of worse in Halo 5, because in Halo 5, its radius was smaller, and everyone was faster. So by the time that you'd see a red dot enter your radar from behind, it was practically too late, because you've got less like distance and they're faster to react. Like, you'd be dead. Like, the radar should always be 25 meters, right? The radar has been 25 meters since Halo 2, right? So from Halo 2 all the way up to Halo 4 it's 25 meters. And then in Halo 5 they put it down to 18 meters, which is crazy. Put it down to, so you're cutting off a good chunk of what my radar can see, and you're making people faster. Like, that doesn't make sense. And the radar should pick up all movement, with the exception of crouch walking. Like, it's not difficult. Just, you know, majority of the games had it this way. Make it that way. So radar should go back to 25 meters. It should pick up all movement, with the exception of crouching and crouch walking. And yeah, and that's the way it should be. Like, I thought it was just me. I was like, maybe I'm just not looking at the radar enough. But then I seen a lot of people saying like, hey, is anybody noticing that the radar isn't picking people up? And so I'm hoping that 343 sees this and changes the radar back to the way it should be. Like, it needs to be 25 meters, pick up everything, right? And also, another wee feature that I'd like them to add is, I think they added this in Halo Reach. It was, if the red dot was darker, it meant they were below you, and if it had a wee arrow, like it meant they were above you. Like, that was a cool feature that they added in Reach. So bring that back. It's not completely necessary. Like, if I see a red dot at a certain location, and I know the map pretty well, then I know they're not round the corner or in the wall. It's like, well, they can't be there. They can't be right on the same level with me, because they'd be in the wall. That must mean that they have to be underneath in the tunnel, right? So it's not completely necessary, but it was a good feature that they brought in Reach. And I think other games use it. I think Destiny has it that way. But yeah, that was a cool wee feature. Bring that back. The ping system. Now, I've played Rainbow Six, I've played other games that have a ping, and I'm just like, this is just a gimmicky feature that they don't really need. Halo doesn't need that. Nah, it's a welcome addition. I quite like it. It promotes teamwork. You get medals for it and rewarded for killing someone who's just pinged. So, yeah, I really like it. I like pinging the enemies. I like being able to, like, oh, sniper rifle, I dropped it over there. I've seen enemies over there. I like being able to do that. And I'm actually waiting, like, I can't wait to use it in a sort of objective way of like, no, you take the flag over there and like ping some cave for a second, I'll go this way. Like, I think that would be very cool. So yeah, ping, welcome addition. And speaking of being able to ping weapons, being able to drop a weapon for your teammate now is a godsend, and I don't know why I never thought of that before, of that being a feature. So gone are the days of, I just died, pick up my sniper rifle for me. Okay, alright, I've respawned, right, let's find a weapon for me to swap so I can give you back your sniper rifle, and then both of you get hit by a wraith. Now it's like, hey, I've picked up your sniper rifle for you, cool, I spawned at the cave, I'll meet you there, here, and you can just drop the sniper rifle for your friend. Like, that's so good. Like, yeah, it's such a quality of life gameplay thing. Like, it's really good. And then the sort of final feature is the AI scan feature, which just pushed down the D-pad and sends out a pulse, and it sort of just highlights all the weapon pads on the map. So it's a good way of helping you explore the map and know that, hey, there's a weapon up there, and there's a weapon up there. And yeah, I think it's just a good thing to help new people learn the map, such as us, who are, we're new to the maps, and it helped me learn some of the maps. Like on Bazaar, I think I played that map about 10 times before I realised there was a wee like tunnel bit off to the left where the shotgun would spawn. And I'm like, what the so the scan helped me find that, so that was really good. The removal of the classic red versus blue is something I actually quite like, as it means that my Spartan identity can be seen in more game modes than just free-for-all or zombies. The outline colour was something I had to adjust to though. Having blue for allies is good, but when the bots are all coloured blue, it got a little confusing for me, so I just changed the ally colour to green, which that completely fixed the problem for me. No longer did I get confused. The AI voices, they're a welcome addition, I think. They each have their own personality and voice lines, and the Spartan chatter isn't something I love, but it's not something I'm overly offended by either. It's a nice wee optional thing to have, but I don't know, I think I'll eventually turn it off when I get the full game. I mean, the amount of times I heard, over yonder, it's like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, I got a stick in that guy. It's like, that's some like Halo 5 stuff that I don't need. So yeah, I'm probably going to turn it off and just have the AI voice and the Halo announcer as the voices that I hear. Okay, the maps. So we got to play 3 maps over the course of the preview. Live Fire, Recharge and Bazaar. All of them felt great. Okay. So Live Fire was the first, and it was the smallest map that we got to play, and because of its small size, it's a very fast-paced map compared to the others. And despite me playing it far more than the others due to it being the only one available for the first like 2 days, I never really got bored of it, if I'm honest. It's a really good, solidly designed and fun map. I just want to play more game types on it. I really want to see what Oddball or King of the Hill is like on it. Recharge is a beautiful looking map with some great lighting, like it really looks good, and it's a fun map to play and explore. Definitely seems more like an objective map to me though, like a like asymmetrical objective, like one flag or one bomb. Like that's what it looks like it caters towards more. And Bazaar feels like a proper classic Halo 4v4 map, as it was the only symmetrical map in the preview. And I don't know why, like, it felt familiar to me, right? And I was trying to think like, right, what map has it given me like vibes of? And I was thinking through them all, and really, and call me crazy, but it was really giving me some, the pit vibes from Halo 3. Not massively, right? Just a bit. Like, it felt like that. They're both symmetrical, and they just had sort of that feel to it. Like the wee shotgun tunnel that I told you about off to the left, kind of reminded me of the sword room, like, and on the pit. So, yeah, like, I really like that map. In terms of what was my favourite map out of the three, that is a tough one to choose, but honestly, I would have to go with Bazaar. Like, again, it just feels like a proper classic 4v4 map, and I love the aesthetic of it, I love the design of it, I loved, going back to New Mombasa, it was great. Because like the Halo 5 maps, and even 4, it was like Halo Faller even said it, they were just big metal boxes. Like, every map was a big metal, industrial, like military industrial box. Whereas this is like, hey, people live here. This is a marketplace. Well, there's a bar up there that you can smash all the tables. Like, if it felt lived in, and that's what I've always liked about the Halo maps. It was like, just the way that the old Halo maps were designed, like, they had their own wee story to them, and it made you wonder, it's like, oh, what happened here? So, yeah, Bazaar was my favourite. Ooh, I'm trying to think. Bazaar, Live Fire, Recharge. Yeah, that'd be the order of my favourite maps. I'm not saying that Recharge is bad, like, it was really good, but it was my least favourite of the three. Okay, so let's talk about Bot Slayer. We only got one game mode, which was Bot Slayer. 4 players against 4 bots at different difficulties. So the difficulties that you can choose from are essentially easy, normal, heroic, legendary, but in this it's called Recruit, Marine, ODST and Spartan, which I predicted, but again it's not a crazy thing to predict. And although Spartan is equal to legendary, it didn't feel that way. Like, before this came out, they were like, oh, don't sleep on the bots, they'll destroy you. And it's like, really? Like, nah, they didn't. They did not. I mean, they are competent, smart, and they can surprise you at times, but overall, they were super easy. Like, every day when they upped the difficulty, I was confused for the first few games, as I thought maybe I was in a different playlist or something. Like, I was expecting the Spartan level bots to at least give me a bit of a challenge. But I don't think there was ever a game where the bots scored 20 kills. Like, that never happened to me. And there was never a game where I never got a spectacular. Like, they were really easy. So, yeah, nah. I mean, if these are Spartans, like, nah, it's not Spartan difficulty. Like, I don't know. I'd say up ODST to what Spartan difficulty is, and then make Spartan difficulty like, I don't know, Mythic or something. Like, because there was no noticeable jump between ODST and Spartan, for me at least. So for a few hours on Sunday, they actually put up a proper 4v4 Slayer playlist, and it was 2-3 in the morning for me, and I was asleep. So I didn't get a chance to play it, so I can't comment on actual 4v4 Slayer. So sorry about that, I can't comment on that. I didn't really get a chance to play, but from what I heard, people had fun. Like, I haven't heard, like, the fact that I haven't heard anything about it is kind of good, because if I heard people saying like, oh, the lag was terrible, blah blah blah, then that's bad. But the fact that I've heard nothing, good. Other than that, I enjoyed the Bot Slayer. Like, the gameplay, like, I actually, I got to play Halo. Right, the gameplay was fantastic, with just a few problems here and there. But like I said earlier, 343, they have nailed the foundation. Like, they have nailed the base foundation, something they can build upon in Halo Infinite. Like, this preview has given me hope that Infinite's multiplayer could be amazing, and I kind of hate that I've got hope. You know, I'm kind of like Hawkeye in the end game. It's like don't give me hope 343. Like, please don't, because like if this fails, I'm going to be, and the entire community is just going to be like, oh, hearts broken, because this is like, oh, I haven't been excited like this excited for Halo in a long time. Like, like, even though I keep trying to dampen my hype and excitement, I just can't, because I just keep thinking back to what I played, and what I played was fantastic. The scoreboard at the end of the game has a few issues. So it shows you your medals, which I'll get to medals in a moment. But the stats that it gives you feel like they're in the wrong order, right? Like when you finish a game, what's the things you want to see? Your kills, your deaths, your assists, right? But in this, it goes power weapon kills, which is such a random stat to want to know, first of all. Damage dealt, which that is a completely useless stat to me, seeing as I have no frame of reference for the damage value of guns in this game. Like, there's no damage numbers being displayed as I hit enemy with my bullets. Like, this isn't Destiny, so it's a completely useless stat to me. Like, it's showing I've got like 3,000 odd damage, and I'm like, is that good? Is that like, is like 1,000 like equating to like 100 bullets, or is that like one, you know, or is that 3 bullets equal to 1,000 damage? Like what? I have no frame of reference, so that's a completely useless stat to me. Accuracy, like, that's an actual cool stat, but that should be the 4th stat they give you, right? It should go kills, deaths, assists, accuracy, right? And then the scoreboard itself has a weird problem. So in the game, the highlight on the scoreboard here is so bright, I actually couldn't read what was highlighted. Like, I had to put the highlight underneath what I wanted to read. You know, like some people do with a piece of paper or ruler, they put it under the line that they're reading when they're reading a book. It was just so blindingly bright. But when I'm looking back at the recorded footage, it's not too bad. I can actually make it out. I can actually read it. Still a bit bright, but it's not blinding the way it was on my Xbox. So I recorded this in 1080p, but I was playing in 4K. So maybe the 4K display is too much or something. I don't know. Either way, in-game is blinding. So they need to look at that. And let's talk about the medals here. So medals, they're back. They're in your face, and I love it. Medals in Halo 4 and 5 kind of felt neglected and pushed to the side to me. But here, they're front and centre. And you know when you've earned them, as Jeff Sykes loudly and proudly proclaims your feats. The medals, though, seem to have a unified sort of colour rarity to them. So green is like the most common, and then you'll get blue medals, and then purple medals, and then kind of gold and red. Like, I kind of like that the green ones are all like unified, so such as like Rifleman, which is 5 kills with a rifle. But the spree and multi-kill medals should go back to the classic Halo 3, Halo Reach colours to really make them pop out. I mean, the fact that Overkill and Killtacular are the same colour kind of feels cheap to me. Like, the thrill and excitement of those medals when you first achieved them was like, not only hearing the announcer like say it, like, oh, I've never heard, you know, Killtrocity before, but like just seeing the cool colour combination of them, of like the background and the stars, it was like, whoa, I've never seen that before, like, that's amazing. And it's the same with the spree colours as well, like Run and Riot and Rampage here, they're the same colour. It's like, what? No, that feels lazy. Like, make them distinguishable. But I don't know if they actually do change as they go up, like, you know, Killtrocity or Unstoppable, but it doesn't seem like it does, which kind of upsets me. So just bring back the bright, vibrant colours other than just green, red, blue and purple. You know, just bring them back. Like, somebody posted to Reddit like the entire medal list, and the picture just looks great. It's like, oh, look at all those unique medals that you can identify instantly just by the colour and the shape and looking at them. It's like, alright, that's the Kill and Frenzy one there, that's the Kill from the Grave one there. But I feel as if with these ones, you're going to have to really look and go, right, which one of these green ones is Rifleman? Oh, there it is, 4th row. out of 10. It's like, come on, do something there. And the final thing I'll say, the shield recharge noise is back. Like, it's always been there, but I've always felt like ever since Halo 4 onwards, they made the sound really, quiet in the background. But here it is loud and in your face. I love it. Like, it honestly feels like Combat Evolved. Like when your shield is recharging. Like, it's so loud. I love it. Like, thank you. Keep that. So next up we have the Academy. So in the Academy we only had access to the firing range, which is a great addition to the game. And it was the first thing I tried when I loaded up the preview. Just having the ability to try out a gun before jumping into a match and already having a bit of practice with it is such a useful thing to have. I mean, it was a bit buggy visually here and there at some points, but it is a technical preview. But I love that. I love just the idea of a firing range, because I'm sure like many of you, when we're getting to actually try guns in the old Halo games, either we would load up a custom match, spawn all the weapons, and then just, run around the map, pick up a weapon, go, oh, what does this thing do? Oh, that fires weird. Or you would just jump right into multiplayer, you'd find something, pick it up and go, what the hell is this thing? And you try and get a kill with it, and then you die, and then you probably don't pick it up again for another 5 minutes, and it would actually take you a while to actually use it, unless you're playing something like Fiesta or whatever. But in this, it's like, right, let's go in here, let's go through the entire list of weapons, let's try out everything against, something that can actually react, instead of like, in custom games you just fire it or shoot your mate. But I love that you actually have the bots and they can strafe. Yeah, it's just such a good feature, and I'm so glad that they've got it in there. The issue I have with it though is the menu system. Okay, so let's say I choose a weapon. It already has the first difficulty option selected for me, but let's say I want to choose difficulty 3 instead. I push up thinking that will take me to difficulty 3, seeing as it's right above the play option. Nope, it takes me all the way to 1, and then I need to scroll back down to 3. So I need to go up to go down. Like, it just feels awkward and wrong to me. Like, the highlight should be on the list of difficulties first, giving us the freedom to scroll through them. Then when we select one, then it should take us to play. Or have play off to the right. That way, if I want to go to the list, like that way if I spawn in and it's already set on play, I can just hit left and then go down. Like, I don't know, it just feels weird and just against what feels natural to me, Another thing that is wrong with the menu is that when you finish the drill, it gives you your score, and instinctually I press B thinking it will take me back out to the previous menu, being the difficulty selection for that weapon. Instead, it takes me out to the Academy main menu, which is just bizarre. And if you press the other option, more drills, thinking it will take you to the difficulty selection, nope, it takes you to the weapon menu. Like, this all feels wrong and against what feels natural. Like, if Y was the option to take you back to the weapon list, then the B option, which is always meant back, should take you back to the previous menu, which is difficulty choice. Like, come on, it's always been that way. It's like that in everything else. Okay, so keeping on this trend, we're going to talk about the user interface and customization. The UI in the game needs some work. The menus feel cumbersome, and there's a bit of unnecessary menu diving to get to find some things. For instance, if you want to access the customization screen for your Spartan, you think that you would just press start and the option would be there the way it has been in all games. No, you have to back all the way out to the main menu and then select customize with like RB or LB at the top of the screen. This is wrong, right? You should be able to access customization at any point when you're not in a game. Like, I'm sure you're all like me, once I'm queued up in a lobby and waiting to find a game, I like to go through the customization screen and just look at things. See what I need to do to unlock certain items and armor pieces, what challenges I need to do. But with the way that the current menu system is set up, I can't do that. And for a game that's all about ooh, making your Spartan identity yours. They really aren't making it easy to organize and keep our things in order. So let's stay in customization. The options are fantastic. Just as many and more as Reach had, which, let's face it, Halo Reach was peak armor customization, right? The issue I have is selecting to equip pieces. So when I look at this armor skin here, or armor shader if you're a Destiny guy, I press A thinking that will equip it. Instead, it takes me into its details and lore. Okay, you actually have to push X to equip it. A is to preview it. This just feels wrong to me. Like, I don't need to push a button to preview it. I can already see it. Like, I'm scrolling through the colours and it's showing me what it looks like. That's to preview. I don't need to press A to preview it again. Like, no, it should be A to equip. X should be for details or extras, right? It just feels more natural and instinctual for me for it to be A. Like, I do like how you can sort stuff by rarity or name. That's a good feature. And being able to favourite certain pieces is also very handy. But yeah, but other than that, that kind of feels wrong. But those other features are good. The body types felt a bit underwhelming, to be honest. And I hope there's more of a distinguishable body type to choose from. Because from what I can see in this build, 0 is normal, 1 is thin, and 2 is practically the same as 0. It took me a while to actually notice that 2 is just a bit thinner than 0, like you can really see it in the hips and the arse. Now you might be saying, why don't you just rotate your Spartan to see from different angles to see how different it is? And my answer is, I would if I could, but you can't. You cannot rotate your Spartan in this menu here. So that's something they need to fix. The prosthetic arms and legs were cool, but were very buggy for me. Apparently there's more customization options to come, so I'm hoping for some crazy looking robot arms and legs. The AIs I talked about earlier are a cool addition, giving you a wee bit of commentary as you play and get kills. I like the ones we had in the beta, and I hope there are more to come. The only thing I would add is a preview voice option. That way when I'm in the menu choosing them, I can just preview the voice to just hear what they say, just like how you'd preview a firefight voice, instead of having to choose them and then load into a game and hear them. So yeah, a wee preview voice option would be nice. Okay, Season Pass. The Season Pass is easy and straightforward to understand. Right? Reach this rank, unlock this. Simple. Few things I would change though. Under your current rank on the pass, there is a blue progress bar to show that you have reached that rank. It doesn't, however, show you how far you are through the next rank. It does show you on the top left here where it says 4 hour tomorrow. Like it shows you there how much XP I still need to get to the next rank. I just think that the blue progress bar should be under the actual unlock track as well. That way, I don't need to shift my eyes all over the place. It's like I'm keeping it in the same plane of focus of like, right, I'm rank 14, that gets me that helmet, well, I'm almost through it, instead of looking all over the place. I know it's a nitpicky thing, but over time it would just get annoying. But yeah, that's just one wee thing. Another thing is how you actually unlock the ranks, which is XP. But it seems that the only way to get XP is through challenges, which refresh every day. But there's only so many challenges you get a day. So it got to the point where I couldn't progress through the Season Pass anymore because I had completed everything. Now, I hope that in the full game, XP isn't just tied to challenges, but that we actually get XP for completing games. If not, then that's a problem. That means that 343 is actively slowing our progress through the Season Pass, which I don't like. Like, I don't like being shown something to progress through and unlock, but be forced to wait and play by their time frame. No, that's not good. Also, some challenges would just bug out for me and disappear at times, and I would check and I was like, oh, is this like reset? Like, have I run out of time? No, it'd be like well after reset, and it'd just be, they would just disappear. Or some were like complete 3 matches, and I would complete a match and there would just be no progress on it, and I would keep playing matches and just it would never progress. So challenges were a little buggy, but again, technical preview, this is all stuff that can fix it later. Okay, settings. In terms of settings, there are plenty of options for people to go wild on. I've got it on bumper jumper, obviously. One thing I would like to be added is just a simple sensitivity slider from 1 to 10. Like all these options of like vertical dead zone and inner outer options, it means nothing to me. And I'm not saying get rid of those options. Obviously people do understand them and love tweaking the controls to the utmost. But me, just give me a simple sensitivity slider that goes from 1 to 10. That's all I ask. Because when I see all those other options, and I see them in other games as well, I just feel intimidated. And I'm like, oh god, I'm going to change stuff and just mess up my controller layout, and I'm never going to get back to normal. And oh, this is going to be bad. And also, I might not have time for all this tweaking. Like, I can't be arsed with that. Just give me a simple 1 to 10. Just like the old school, you know. Give me a 1 to 10 next to all these other options. And also, while I'm at it, can we add a bit of colour back to the menus, specifically the menu buttons? I mean, can the A button be green and the B button be red, instead of them all being a bland, uniform white? I mentioned it earlier, but the whole military, minimalist, everything must be one uniformed colour trend, it kind of needs to end. Like, bring back some colour. Come on. The video options are good. The field of view slider is a godsend. Like, I hope every other shooter from now on has it on consoles. Like when I upgraded to Series X and I had the field of view slider for Destiny, oh, it just completely changed how I played the game. And same with this. Graphics quality, I saw no visible difference between performance and quality mode. And in fact, I wasn't really noticing the high frame rate either as I played this. Like, I don't know if I'm just used to it by now because of Destiny, but yeah, it just didn't stand out to me. And I have seen other people saying it's like, oh no, I never got past 25 frames for me, or never got past 60. But yeah, I never noticed the high frame rate for me anyway. Just never noticed it. All these sensory options mean nothing to me, and I have no idea what they would do to my picture if I messed with them. Maybe in this massive black space to the right here, we could have a small video that shows you what happens to the picture as the sliders change, just to give me a preview of what it is I'm changing. Audio, everything fine here. Same with the UI, nice options. Okay, accessibility. Here's where things got fucked, right? As I was getting footage for this video, because I knew I would do a massive feedback video, I went onto the accessibility screen for the first time and I seen an option called linear navigation mode. Now I thought this would maybe fix some of the weird menu scrolling options in the Academy, but as you can see to the right, it's not that. It just adds a wee highlight to when I'm navigating the menus, which in my case is a green highlight, so it's a wee green box over things. But as soon as I activated it, the controls became almost unusable. The briefest of touch would take me from one menu option to another. It was so wonky that I couldn't actually scroll through the menus or turn off. Like, follow the green box here. That is me trying to turn off the highlight, but it wouldn't let me. I was stuck. I got close once, but again, it was for a millisecond, it moved again. Like, thank God this was the last thing I recorded for this, and it was on the last day, as I couldn't access anything that required scrolling. Couldn't access season pass, customization, controller settings, firing range, nothing, right? Thankfully, Bot Slayer was the only option for multiplayer, so I just had to press A a bunch of times to get in the game. But that right there, linear navigation mode, that was the biggest issue / bug I had with the game. Like if that happened to me in day one, that would have fucked it for me. Like, oh, that would have annoyed me. So fix that. Like, they really need to fix that. And I didn't get time to, place a ticket in on Waypoint to say, hey, this is a problem. And I haven't seen anyone else talk about it. So I might just move this wee section and make it its own video itself, but linear navigation mode, fuck that thing, fix it. But other than that, I think that's it. The only other bugs I experienced were ones that pretty much everyone else experienced, where if I was added to a game late, and by late I mean like 1 or 2 kills in, the sound would be muffled except for my Spartan's voice, which was weird. And there was a few times where I would be in the game, but my camera was looking somewhere else. Like I could fire my gun, I could feel it and I could hear it, and I could hear my Spartan take damage, and I could hear people run by my Spartan, and I heard my guy die, but I'd still be stuck in that camera angle, so I'd have to back out of that match just to fix it. Another bug was that if I was holding the battle rifle and went to pick up ammo from the wall rack, the weapon would not reload or fire. I would have to swap weapons to fix it. Sometimes the ammo counter would go up to the full 36 rounds, but I still couldn't fire it for a few seconds. So I'm not sure if this is a reload animation bug or whatever, but it was the most consistent bug that I came across, other than the joining game late audio muffled bug. I crashed maybe 2 times out of the entire thing. Twice, that was it. I had no lag, which is amazing, like no lag whatsoever. Finding games was fast, and the Waypoint app, which I didn't get to access until the final day, because the way that they made it available just was weird. Like it wasn't clear to me, and apparently it wasn't clear to a lot of other people, because I've seen so many people on Waypoint being like, how do I access the app? But once I did get in, it was great. Like it ran smoothly. I was finally able to customize my Spartan's nameplate and my Spartan tag, which was great, because there was a good few games that I'd see people were like their nameplates and that, and people had the chat box. Oh, there's a chat box. Oh yes, there's a chat box. It's so good. Like that needs to be a feature in every game as well. But the fact that, yeah, I'll try and find the gameplay. Somebody asked like, how'd you get that nameplate? I was like, oh crap, there's a chat box. Like, oh, like yeah, that's such a good wee feature. I'm glad they added it. So again, good job 343. But back to where I was. Yeah, the app, it was great. It was, you know, fun, responsive, easy to navigate, and yeah, I can't wait to use it fully when it comes out. And that's it. That is my entire thoughts for the Halo Infinite technical preview. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can think of. Rocket launcher. Okay, so the rocket, looking back on the footage, the rocket velocity feels a bit slow. Yeah, it feels a bit slow. Travel time could be increased. Anything else? Nah, I think that's it. Overall, my experience with the technical preview was fantastic, and I can't wait to play more of the game in more previews, and obviously when the full game comes out, which we still don't know when it is, but I mean, a solid bet would be, was it November 15th? That's when Halo Combat Evolved came out in 2001. So if it came out November 15th this year, it'd be exactly 20 years after the first Halo, so that's a good bet. At least I think it's November 15th. November something. But yeah, there's going to be more technical previews. Again, sign up to become a Halo Insider, confirm your email, do all that on Waypoint, and they have said for the next, like the first preview was very self-contained. I think it was like 100,000 or so people got invited. This next one they're going to do, which we don't know when, but I'm guessing pretty soon. I'm going to say 2 weeks. More people are going to be invited to that one, and then more, and then eventually for the final flight, whenever it is, they'll do that. They want as much people as possible just to really stress test their servers before the game comes out. That one will be a proper, what you could class as a beta. Yeah, the game, it isn't perfect, as I've listed in this, but they have a lot right. Like, they've got more right than they have wrong. And like I've been saying throughout this, the base foundations are there. Like, the base gameplay is there, it's fun, it's solid, right? it works. Just all the other stuff on top of it is just like, just little things they can tweak here and there. But again, the base foundations of this game, like the gameplay is solid. Like they've taken all the best parts from all the games really, from 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Like best bits of everything, cherry picking, and Reach as well. Just everything's just right. So 343, you're on the right track. I haven't been this excited for a Halo game in about 10 years. So keep up the good work, and I can't wait to play more. And if you've made it through this video, like listening to my entire feedback, thank you. Yeah, I hope this has made you excited for the game, or sort of, I don't know. I hope this has made you excited and sort of like made you feel more ease of like, oh right, it sounds like they're on the good track to like making a good Halo game. Because I've been playing Halo since 2005, and I've been through the ups of 2 and 3, and Reach. Reach was an up for me, and then I've been down. You know, I've been there for like the lows of 4, and when the Chief Collection originally launched, and Halo 5. So I've been through it all, and honestly, like this year just feels weird. Like I've got Halo and Battlefield coming out. I really feel as if I'm like back in high school again. Like you had no idea. Like I was so excited to finish work and come home and play Halo. Even though it was the same map against piss easy bots, I was so excited to play it. Just because it just feels so good. Like the gameplay is just so good. So yeah, I'm so excited for this game. Please be good. Please be good. But yeah, thank you for watching. Sign up. Yeah, I keep saying it. If you want a chance to play Infinite early on one of these technical flights, go to Halo Waypoint, go to the Halo Insider, sign up for that. It takes like 2 minutes. Confirm your email, make sure you're signed up. Make sure you're signed up for the right platform, because I've seen a few people signed up for PC and instead they got an Xbox invitation or vice versa. So make sure you've opted in for like, I only want to do PC or Xbox. Like I've only opted in for Xbox, even though I could probably opt in for PC, but I really don't want to. But yeah, thanks for watching guys, and hopefully I'll be making more Halo videos in the future. Thanks for watching, bye bye.